Projectors. This is how you tap into the art of manifesting the right invitations for you. By the end of this video, not only will you know exactly how to prepare for an invitation, but you'll also have the ability to recognize the invitations that you've already received. We're diving deep into what it is to be a projector today. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Kylie. I'm a mindset manifestation and human design guide, and I'm here to create content that takes very diverse and complex subject matters and breaks them down into very simple ways where you'll get practical tools to implement them from today and live more in accordance to how you are designed to be in this world so that you can surpass the expectations of your mind and live a life that is far better than your Pinterest board. Please do me the absolute honor of subscribing to my channel. It helps me create more content just like this for you, and it genuinely means the world to me. So let's dive in. Firstly, let's break down what it means to be a projector. And I'm going to use some of my own terminology in order to really help you navigate what it means to be a projector. I have facilitated over 500 human design readings, and a very large portion of those readings have been for projectors. Projectors love working with me because they say that they feel so seen by me because I understand their mechanics. And I've learned so much from having really good friends that are projectors, from working with projectors, and having a projector son myself. I'm not a projector, I'm a 3-5 emotional generator, but I do deeply understand a projector strategy. So what does it mean to be a projector? Being a projector means that you deeply see into others. This is why you're known to have a penetrating aura. You have such a light, energetic being, and it's because you have that ability to deeply see into others and to see systems. And because you are an obsessive creature by nature, when you find a subject matter that interests you, you want to know every detail about that subject matter. And that's what gives you your greatest superpower in this lifetime, which is to hold so much wisdom. But I feel like this should be the projector's mantra on repeat. I'm a projector and I protect my energy. And the reason I say to protect your energy is because being a projector, knowing the wisdom that you have, seeing systems in the way that you do, you're able to give advice to anybody and improve their lives dramatically. But here's the thing. Nobody likes unsolicited advice. And so when a projector gives freely of themselves without being invited into that conversation, that wisdom doesn't land with another person. And this is when a projector experiences that feeling of reject, where they don't feel seen, they don't feel heard, they feel very misunderstood. And it's because the information that they know can drastically change somebody's life is not being taken on board. And that's what leads them to feeling the not self-theme of bitterness. And so if you're a projector and you're feeling really bitter or you're feeling misunderstood, if you feel like nobody's ever hearing you, if you feel like you're constantly giving advice, but nobody's actually taking it on board, this video is really going to help you understand how to manifest the invitations that are correct for you. So always remember, as a projector, you're wanting to protect your energy by waiting for the invitation. Now, I don't believe that the word waiting for an invitation is necessarily the correct word to be used there, because often projectors that find out that they're a projector then sit on the sidelines and feel like they can never be the main character of their story because they're always waiting for the invite. But that is not true. If you know what you desire as a projector, you can start preparing for the invitation. And so that's what I want you to reframe wait for the invitation to be, is as a projector, you're here to prepare yourself for the invitations to come. Something that I wish more projectors understood is that you're preparing for big invites in your life. You're not preparing for daily conversation invites. It's really the big invites for career, for love, for purpose. Those are the big invites that you are waiting for. And so what that looks like is often people are wanting to discover their purpose in life. And maybe as a projector, you're waiting for that invitation. And so an invitation for that kind of scenario would look like following the breadcrumbs that the universe is guiding you to follow. And that could be through an idea coming to you. That is a form of an invitation. If an idea just comes to you and it keeps coming to you, that is an invitation. There are so many projectors that I know where human design has kept inviting them. And maybe it's they heard the word projector on an Instagram reel, and then they listened to a podcast about human design, and then they found a book randomly in a bookstore about human design. And if something keeps coming up for you, that is an invite from the universe. That's what I call a breadcrumb from the universe, and that is an invite for a projector. Other ways that you receive an invite is understanding what everybody comes to you for that you think is so easy. It comes so naturally to you. It comes so easily to you that you kind of just pass it off as, well, everybody should know this information. And so when you go, oh, actually, hang on, this is an invite that I keep getting, but I disregard it as an invite because it's something that I know so much about, and it should come easily to everyone because it's something that comes so naturally to me. This is one of the projector's downfalls, is being able to see so deeply into other people, but having that lack of self-awareness. Projectors generally tend to not have the same awareness or depth of insight into themselves as they do for others. It's very easy for projectors to deeply see into others because you have a penetrating aura. And so you are able to deeply see into another. And if you're around another projector, you will always feel like, whew, I feel very intensely seen by projectors. It's really interesting. I have one son who's a generator and one son who's a projector, and their auras do feel very different to be around. And a projector, you do feel like they're zoning in on you, and you're pulled to feel like you're in this deep one-on-one connection with a projector. Now, when somebody is coming to you and they constantly asking you advice on the same things, or you're noticing there are generally many different people from different parts of your life coming and asking you the same things, that is the invite. That is your awakening to go, oh, I need to have more awareness on what are the things that come naturally to me, because I'm starting to see a collective theme where people are asking me about this information. Another nuanced way that projectors will receive an invite is through social media. If you're growing a business or wanting to start something and people are following or liking or commenting on any kind of content, if you've got one follower, regardless of who that person is, that is your invite to continue to talk more about the things that you are obsessed with. I truly love social media for projector strategy, because if you're somebody that is trying to find what your purpose in life is right now, social media is a great way to do that. What are all the different things that you're interested about? Go and create content on the things that you are obsessed about, because you will have a different take on producing information around that topic, and then start to see which pieces of content are getting more engagement. That is a surefire way to ask for the invitation, is to start to read the data points on what people are really enjoying from you. And that is what we call practicing for the invitation or preparing for the invitation. Because now you're not just sitting on the sidelines waiting for the universe to deliver a signed, sealed, stamped invitation to you. You're actually going out and preparing for it. And so if, for example, you want to become a TEDx speaker one day, how can you start getting yourself into rooms where you're already engaging with people and are talking on topics that you really love? So this is something that most projectors don't know about, is that you can invite the invite. Let's say you're in a boardroom environment where everybody around the table is sharing ideas on a project, and you know that you're sitting there with an idea that could completely revolutionize this project, because you can see things from your different perspective, where you can see systems in place and you can just see all the generators and manifesting generators clucking around like headless chickens, and you know the solution to how everything will fit together seamlessly. Instead of just keeping quiet, you can say, I have a really cool idea. Would you mind if I shared it? And that is inviting the invite in. Now, if they say, no, not right now, you have to honor that. This is not the time to share your information, because everybody's going to be closed off and they wouldn't use it anyway. However, if they go, that would be great, I would love to hear your input, that is an invitation. And that is when you can share that information. So that is how you get to invite the invite. And that is completely in alignment with a projector strategy because as a projector, you get to be in the frequency of invites, which means you get to give invites to other people as well, as much as you are here to receive them. It's how people then respond to your invite that will dictate on whether this is the time to share your wisdom or not. I want to go through the whole process in terms of manifestation mechanics and human design. In order to do this, I'm going to show you how to manifest the invite through my manifestation process, which is called the quad formula. The first step is to discover what it is that you desire, and then to discover who you would already be if you had achieved what it is that you want to manifest. Now, this is how we start to activate our identity center, because we manifest from who we believe ourselves to be. This is all about self-concept. And so when we start to understand how we view ourselves, that is then going to change our chemistry of how our brain works and opens ourselves up to the quantum field, the field of infinite possibilities and potential. And we do that through opening our mind and our head center by asking ourselves better questions. And so when you're asking better questions of how can I receive the invite to speak on stage, get the promotion, have the love of my life come in, you're going to start calibrating to different behaviors, to different ways of thought, to different ways of acting and moving through life. And that will give you a different feeling. And feelings equal your frequency. And the universe is always responding to your frequency. And this is where people get confused. The universe doesn't respond to how you are treating others. It responds to the frequency that you're operating in, the frequency that you're taking action in, the frequency of how you're treating others. Absolutely. But it's all about the frequency. The universe doesn't understand the difference between a negative and a positive construct of a sentence. It only understands that which you are focusing on. And so this is why I say, if you're focusing on being the frequency that can receive and give out invites, then that's when you're also going to be manifesting more invites your way, because you're holding that frequency. So really understanding who you are being, discovering what it is that you truly desire, as well as who you will be, is going to help you hold that frequency. Then it's to dissolve all of the limiting beliefs and to dissolve all of the things that are holding you back. Projectors generally have deconditioning to do around their energy output. And again, when you're not receiving the invites, this is not the time to try and get them by being even more in people's faces, which is what I see a lot of projectors that are living out of alignment do, is that when they're not getting the invite, they seek attention. And seeking attention is part of our shadow. Now, let's understand where seeking attention comes from. When we are babies, we seek our parents' attention in order to have our basic needs met. So a baby will cry when it's hungry, cold, needing something, in order to get attention and alert people to something is wrong. Our subconscious mind doesn't always know that we've grown up, we've become fully fledged adults and can make these choices for ourselves. And so when we're not feeling seen, we believe that we are going to, at some level, die because we're not being noticed. And that makes our nervous system really panic. And so when our nervous system panics, because we feel like we're going to be kicked out the tribe, and if we get kicked out the tribe, our basic needs are not going to be met, that is when you go into, how can I seek attention here in order to be noticed, in order to receive the invite? And that is very counterintuitive to how a projector is here and designed to work. When a projector takes their foot off the pedal and goes, I'm not here to energetically output more than anybody else, because that is the task of generators and manifesting generators. I am here to sit and start recognizing myself. And that is when you go into the space of, how can I recognize both my light and my dark? Projectors that recognize both are going to have more self-awareness. And when you have more self-awareness, you will also discover deeper what it is that you desire, who you are being, how you view yourself, and that will hold the frequency to receive more invites. The third step is to then dance. And dancing is about taking aligned, inspired action. Now, as a projector who is waiting for the invite, this is the part where you're really preparing for the invitation. And so you could be on the one end of the extreme where you're just waiting and you're manifesting by visualizing the things that you want to happen, but you're waiting for it to happen. And so you're always going to be waiting for it to happen, which is the irony of the whole situation, because you'll believe that you always have to be in waiting. And so that is the frequency that the universe will be responding to you with. Whereas if you're preparing for the invitation, that is signaling to the universe that you already have what it is that you desire. And now you're just on the journey to making sure that you're in preparation. At the time of this recording, it is currently November, and everyone is starting to prepare for Christmas. Now, there is such a different, nuanced energy between preparing for Christmas or waiting for Christmas. Preparing for Christmas is going, I know it's going to happen. It's going to happen on the 25th of December, as it does every year. And these are all the things that I want to do in preparation for it to be a magical Christmas. Whereas if you were just waiting for Christmas to happen, you would probably skip past the 25th and go, oh my word, it went by. There was nothing that I did. This is what feeling prepared means. It's that feeling of, I know that my desires are coming to me, so let me really be prepared for when they do come. And taking inspired action here is going and reverse engineering all of the steps that you would need to take in order to receive the invite for what it is that you desire. Really think about, if you're wanting to write a book, how can you write 10 pages every single day already? Become the author of your life already. If you're wanting to find that soulmate love, how can you be love already? If you're wanting to manifest more abundance, how can you be abundance already? How can you do all of those things? Because the universe is always responding to your frequency. It's understanding that your actions are also comprised of your feelings, your intentions, your beliefs, your thoughts, everything. Action is only one part of it, but it's how you are doing that action, how you're feeling about that action, the frequency that you're holding, and the action that you're taking. And that is what I mean when I say you dance with the universe. You play in the energetics of taking inspired action that are in alignment with you. And that is where you also need to follow your authority. So this is how this works in the human design context. When you open up your head center to tap into the quantum realm where infinite possibilities do exist, you're going to manifest ideas and thoughts to come into your field of consciousness. You are then going to bring that idea into your body-based wisdom and follow your authority with regards to whatever authority you have. So that could be an emotional authority, it could be splenic, it could be ego, it could be self-projected, it could be mental. And those are different strategies, of course, but it's really to trust which decision to make based on your authority. And then it's to take that aligned, inspired action and to dance with the universe in taking that action of preparing for the invites. If you do that, the invites will come. They absolutely will come because you're holding the frequency of that invite by just taking the action that you know is preparing you for that invite. And then you need to detach. And this is by far the hardest manifestation step that anybody gets to do, which is to detach from the outcome. I believe that detachment is not about not caring. It's not about taking your foot off the pedal and just seeing what happens. Detachment is actually about deep acceptance. It's about deep acceptance that you're on a journey. And when you can make the journey the greatest journey of your life, that is when things manifest even faster. And so it's to deeply accept that, okay, you want to manifest a soulmate, and maybe you're being called to go onto a dating app. And you have to deeply accept that that dating app might not be the one that will yield the results that you desire straight away, but maybe you're going to meet somebody on that dating app that puts you into contact with somebody else and leads you along another trail of breadcrumbs that inevitably will see you getting invited by your soulmate to have a conversation. Now, even just a dating app, how that works in terms of the energetics for a projector, if you're on the dating app and somebody has swiped on your profile, That is the invite. You don't need to wait for another invite by somebody sending you the message first because you're a projector and you feel like you have to wait for the invite. If somebody has swiped on your profile, that is already the invite. And because you've already received the invite, that is your green flag. Go. Send the first message. That's okay. You don't need to wait for it. You don't need to wait for an invite on every step of the journey if you've already been invited into somebody's space or into somebody's life. I often find myself in conversations with projectors that are very aware of being a projector and what that means to be a projector. And sometimes you'll be brainstorming ideas and they'll still say to me, "Oh, would you mind if I gave you my opinion on this?" And I always remind them that just by me wanting to brainstorm with you was already the invite to have this conversation where we could share ideas. So very often projectors feel like they need to be invited with every step of the conversation, with every step of the journey. But sometimes it's just that initial invite that you require in order to give your wisdom, in order to give your knowledge. And once you're in that conversation, once you're in that room, once you're doing the things because you've been invited, it's just to know that you've been invited and that you already belong. But very often projectors feel like they don't belong. And so they seek that attention in order to find belonging. But the moment you just know that you belong, you're going to know that you belong. And that will also help you detach from the outcome of knowing just to trust and surrender, knowing that the invitations are already on their way, knowing that you're preparing for the invitation. And again, that's why I really love this whole concept of preparing for the invitation versus waiting for the invitation, because when you're preparing for it, you're also detaching from, is this the invitation? Is this not the invitation? You will know when the invitation is right for you, especially if you're following your authority, because you'll feel that. And that is how projectors really are designed, to manifest invitations, to know which ones are right for them, and to already recognize how many invitations they've already received. A great exercise that I would highly recommend for you to do today as a projector is: 1, write out all the invitations that you desire to receive right now. 2, write out all the steps of action that you would need to take to prepare for the invitations to come in. 3, write out the invitations that you've already received that you may not recognize as having received them already. Go through your social media following, go through different data points, go through different analytics. You're obsessive by nature, so that should be a really fun task for you. And 4, how can you invite the invites of doing those little conversations of, I have a really good idea here, would you mind me sharing? And trusting that if you do get rejection in that moment, it's not rejection, it's just redirection. And it's saving you from feeling that feeling of not being understood, feeling bitter because nobody sees the value that you are here to offer. Perhaps you're in the wrong room, and then manifest the invite for being in the right room. And everything is just information. And so if you're getting rejected, if you're not getting the invites that you want, maybe it's time to really recognize the room that you're in and maybe start making some changes. Next is a video that walks you through how I got out of debt, shed 30 kgs, and started really thriving in my purpose, my career, my passion by following my human design.